Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us this evening. This is going to be a presenter-oriented informational session for this year's Massachusetts Undergraduate Research Conference. It's also going to be student-led, so by myself, I'm Annika, and Anisha and Ava, who are going to introduce themselves in a moment. First, just want to thank you all for being here this evening. But as for business, so you are all muted right now, but at the end of the session, we're going to open it up to questions. So if you have any questions throughout this presentation, just keep them in mind or throw them in the chat. And once we open it up to questions at the end, we can monitor it and answer all of those questions. So to get started, we are going to begin by introducing ourselves. So who are we? We are the conference assistants for the MassURC. This is our team. This is a little photo of our team. We're all here to support you. Like I said, my name is Annika. I'm a senior psychology and political science major.
And hi, everyone. My name's Ava, and I am a senior communication and journalism major.
And my name is Anisha. I'm a junior CS and math double major.
Awesome. So this is going to be our agenda for the session tonight. So we're going to start with a little conference overview. So just some general information. You can find out what, when, and where the conference is, as well as who is eligible to apply. Then we're going to get into some reasons to apply. So what's the point? You can find out all the information and what you can gain from presenting at the MassURC. Then we're going to talk about getting started. So if you are interested in applying and presenting, we're going to talk about your next steps. And again, we're here every step of the way and you won't miss a thing. We're going to share presenter resources at the end of the presentation. And then, like I said, we're going to open it up to your questions. So again, if you think of a question throughout the presentation, keep it in mind or throw it in the chat and we will answer it at the end. So first, the conference overview. So what is the MassURC and how does a research conference like this work, right? So it might be your first research conference and it also might be your first in-person research conference in a while. You know, it's been a while since we've all been in person. So we're going to go over all of that. The MassURC is a one-day in-person conference where undergraduate students present their research, share knowledge, and can learn from fellow students. So this is a full day event, and as an attendee, you are encouraged to participate in the whole day conference. This is going to consist of a keynote session, multiple poster sessions, so your own as a presenter, and then others to attend, lunch at our award-winning dining halls here at UMass, a networking event, and a closing ceremony. And what's really exciting is that the MassURC is for all public higher ed institutions in Massachusetts. So it brings together students from the 28 public colleges and universities within the Commonwealth. So this year's MassURC is also extra special, one being because it's back to being in person after a few years, but also because it's the 30th year anniversary of the conference. So this research conference has a long history. So as a presenter, you'll have the opportunity to be a part of this legacy of academic excellence and exploration during the 30th year anniversary.
So when is the MassURC? This year's conference is going to be taking place on April 19th, 2024. It's going to be taking place over the course of a day with different poster sessions and speeches happening with the reception at the end, like Annika said before. And where is the MassURC? The MassURC is going to be in person this year. It's going to be in person for the first time in a few years, ever since the pandemic happened. And we found that this allows for broader access for students from across the Commonwealth of Massachusetts to attend. The conference is going to be taking place at the Campus Center on the University of Massachusetts Amherst campus. The Campus Center is in the center of campus, and so it's a really good place to kind of explore the university from when you're here for the day. And who can apply? Any undergraduate student that's involved in research that attends any of the 28 public institutions across Massachusetts. It can be any form of research that you want to present. It does not have to be conventional. For example, you can present any sort of project, independent study, creative work, or community service experience that you might have done. And we like to place an emphasis on the fact that we are open to all areas of study. The MassURC has showcased over 60 subject areas in the past. Some examples might be biochemistry, history, architecture. We've also had some presentations in the past that combine multiple different areas of study as well. So that's something else to keep in mind.
So next up, you're going to want to make sure that you know how to apply. So the first thing you're going to do is get information. So you've already completed the first step of this just by being here tonight. But to stay up to date on deadlines and presenter resources, I would definitely recommend following our socials, which are going to be linked at the end of this presentation. Next up is to identify your support team. So don't worry, you're not alone. We're here to help. You're going to first want to identify a faculty sponsor, which is a faculty member from your institution who's going to work directly with you. They'll also have to approve your submission materials before you submit them. So for logistical questions about the conference, you can also find your campus contact, who's going to be the point person from your institution for the MassURC. Their contact info with their email addresses will be available on the MassURC after registration opens on December 1st. Next up is submitting your abstract. And if you've already drafted one, then that's great. But if not, no worries. It's definitely something to begin thinking about, though. Abstract resources are going to be posted on the MassURC Hub again once registration opens. But the abstract submission deadline is going to be February 23rd, 2020. So we know finals can be stressful. So if you don't get around to it this semester, definitely have this be something that you're thinking about over winter break. And lastly, you're going to want to prepare for the day of the conference. So leading up to the conference day, you're going to prepare a poster to present your research in person on campus at UMass Amherst. So this includes visually constructing it so that it's clear and coherent, as well as developing and practicing your verbal presentation, where you'll take attendees through each step of your research. So to go into a bit more depth about who your support team is, the first thing that all presenters need is a faculty sponsor. So this is going to be a person who supports students with all aspects of preparation for the conference. And as we said before, in order to present, all students need to have a faculty sponsor. So this could be someone that you've been working with under a lab, a professor, or any faculty member within your field who's willing to assist you with preparation for the conference. And this is important because faculty sponsors must review the initial abstract submission and mark it as either approved or needs revision before it's submitted. You also have a campus contact at your school, and this is the go-to person for undergraduate student presenters and faculty who have any questions about the MassURC. So all 28 schools included in the MassURC have at least one campus contact who acts as the link between their campus and the conference coordinator here at UMass Amherst. So they can assist you with any more logistical questions that you might have.
Awesome. So now I'm going to touch on all of the resources that are available to you all as prospective presenters. So first, what we have is the MassURC Hub. So this is kind of the main resource that you should all keep in mind. It's our one-stop shop for all MassURC information. So this is where you're going to go to register for the conference as a presenter and submit your abstract at that deadline that we've been throwing out there, December 1st, which is when registration opens. It also has presenter resources that are going to be made available to you after registration opens. Again, so after December 1st, resources such as how to write an abstract and how to create a research poster. And then also like information on accessibility at the conference, information on arrival plans, and the schedule. So again, after registration opens, after December 1st, this is where all of that information is going to live. And we have it linked at the end of the slideshow for you all. Something really useful that you can do right now, so not after December 1st, is connect your calendar with ours. So at the link that we're going to send at the end with the MassURC Hub, you can click on a button that lives on the homepage of that hub where you can connect your calendar to ours. So this calendar has all of the important upcoming dates and deadlines for the MassURC that you have to keep in mind. So if you click on that button on the homepage of the hub, you can automatically have all of those dates synced up to your calendar. So next we have our info sessions. So you're here right now at the first info session learning about what it's like to be a presenter and how to apply. But we have 2 more information sessions coming up between now and the day of the conference. More details coming soon on exactly when these will be, but it'll all be posted on the hub or will be sent to your emails if you are on our mailing list as prospective presenters. We also have recordings of past info sessions, and these slides will also be posted on the MassURC Hub. So basically, all in all, the MassURC Hub is where all of your resources will live. So that's where you should go for more information.
So why should you apply? There's plenty of reasons why you should apply. There's lots of benefits to presenting at the MassURC conference, but here are some main ones. One is resume building. Just being able to show on your resume that you've presented at a research conference shows that you have the focus and resilience in not only conducting research, but in getting it to a point that you can present it to other people. There's a lot of time, effort, energy, and passion that goes into doing something like conducting your individual research or independent study, and then creating a research poster on your own and then presenting at a conference. So that's something that potential employers and grad programs and whatever else you might be applying to or aspiring to in the future, these are things that they really want to see. Another really great benefit is networking, especially this year, since it's going to be the first year that we're in person in a little while. Part of the reason that we brought it back to the in-person format is literally so that presenters could meet other undergraduate students who are conducting research in similar areas of study. And it's not just other undergraduate students. We're also going to have a lot of faculty present at just attending this conference, as well as university leadership. And so it's a really great opportunity to get yourself out there, get your research out there, and meet and make connections with other people who might be able to help you in your career. It's also a really just great experience. Presenting at the MassURC gives you an opportunity to develop your public speaking skills, and communication skills, which is something that not a lot of opportunities do. We do a lot of individual work at college, but being able to show it off to other people and get the opportunity and the practice to present your work is something that's really valuable and something that you can apply to other situations. You're probably going to have to do a lot of presentations in your future for class or for pitches. And so we say that you take the opportunity to practice here. And also it's just a really great opportunity to share your ideas and share your research. You've most likely been working on your research or independent study for a really long time. And the MassURC is an awesome opportunity to show off all the work you've been putting in. It's a great opportunity to put yourself out there and meet other people who are just as passionate about research as you are. And so, yes, that's what we have for this info session. We are now going to be taking questions. If you have any questions, we ask that you raise your hand and one of our presenters will unmute you. But if you don't feel comfortable doing that, you can also send in a question through the chat and we can answer them that way. So.
Also, for those of you that have joined a little bit later, I feel like the main points we'd want to hit. One, the slides from this info session, if you did join a little bit late, are going to be posted on the hub, which we will have linked. I think it's the next slide or the next 2 slides where we'll have that link. So the hub is the one-stop shop for the MassURC, and that's where the slides will be posted if you came a little bit late. But basically all the main points are it's going to be in person this year. And registration opens December 1st. And this is registering for the conference as a presenter. And also this is when you can begin to submit your abstract. But there is more information and things that you need to know. And that'll all be posted on the hub just for those that joined a little bit late.
We're also going to be posting a recording of this info session and all future info sessions on the MassURC Hub, and we'll be emailing those out too. Okay, so now for questions. Will there be an application fee? No, there will not. This conference is publicly available to anybody who attends any of the 28 public institutions across Massachusetts. And so if you apply and you're accepted, then you're free to present. Okay, how can we make sure that we're on the mailing list for prospective presenters? Actually, right after we finish taking questions, I'm going to put a QR code up that will lead you to an interest form that once you fill that out, that'll add you to our mailing list for prospective presenters. What is the deadline to submit my abstract? So the deadline is February 23rd, and registration opens December 1st. So you have a lot of time to submit your abstract. Is there a way to see examples of previous research shown at the conference? So past conferences, past MassURC conferences, we've had different research formats. So the research poster format is actually relatively new, but we will be putting out more information on how to create a research poster and what will be kind of expected in future info sessions. More information on all of that is going to be coming out soon. I have a large project that's incomplete. Can I talk about what I've done and where I'm going? Or are completed projects so unaccepted? No, you do not have to have a completed project in order to present. You can definitely talk about the work that you've accomplished as well as the work that you plan on accomplishing. It's just a matter of having like research to present. So it does not have to be completed at all. Okay. Do you want
to? Alicia, do you want to unmute and ask your question?
I was just wondering how long the presentation portion of the conference is, and if we can only present posters or if there are other forms of, I don't know, something that we can present, because I am making a documentary with my research. So like maybe a shorter version of that, or if it's only posters that we can present here.
So yeah, the current presentation format is a research poster, but you could definitely work to find ways to present your documentary in a research poster format. Maybe you could take screenshots or maybe, but yeah, that's something you could actually reach out to us later about, and we could kind of work with you to find maybe a format that better fits your needs. But yeah. Also, did I fully answer your question? I feel like there was another part of your question that I missed.
Yeah. How long is the presentation portion of the day?
Right. So we're going to have multiple poster sessions throughout the day. Right now, the plan is to have each presenter have their research poster up in the hall for 45 minutes. And we're going to rotate out presenters with each 45-minute session. And so that's the plan. And there should be multiple presentation sessions throughout the day. That's going to be the majority of the conference day. We're going to have a keynote speech somewhere in there. We're going to have the welcome speech at the beginning, the closing speech at the end, and the reception at the end of the day. But more details on the schedule are going to be coming out soon as well.
Casper, so you asked about posters, if they're a physical or digital format. So this is all going to be physical. So it's in person. So all posters will be in person, presented on poster boards. Poster boards and pins to put up your posters will be provided. And we're going to have more information on that on the hub. But yeah, that'll all be provided.
And so I see that Anha asked when abstracts are due, like we said, February 23rd, and registration opens December 1st. How many presenters are accepted from UMass? There's not really a cap as of yet. If there'll be a limitation, it might just be in terms of physical space now that it's an in-person format. But if you do apply, you're likely to be accepted as long as your abstract fulfills all our requirements. And if there is a cap, then we will let people know. How does the point person work? If you're doing research with faculty at a different institution, do you go to them or your own college? So by point person, I'm assuming you're talking about your faculty sponsor. So, if you're doing research with faculty from your institution, then that would be your faculty sponsor. If if the person you're doing research with does not attend your institution and works at a different institution, and that institution is not a public institution, then you might have to reach out to us about your situation, and we'll work with you to make sure that you're still able to present. Because though the faculty sponsor might not be at a public institution, you still are. And as long as you are, you should be able to present. But yes. And as for the person mentioning a QR code, I think that's a really good idea. Attaching a QR code to your research poster is probably a really good idea. Yeah, that's probably the perfect way to do that. Is there a uniform poster size? Yes, I'm pretty sure there is a standard for a research poster size, but again, we're going to be coming out with more information on that in the future, since we are still figuring out logistics and bulletin board sizes. But once we have all that information, which we will soon, that's going to be emailed out to everyone on our mailing list. What happens if the research was done at UMass, but I now attend a different private institution? I think that's another one of those unique situations that you're going to have to reach out to us about. Do email us and we'll be able to get back to you with a more detailed answer, because the conference is for people who are undergraduate students at our public institutions. But if the research was done at UMass, then I'm not sure, because that might constitute a unique situation. How do we join the email list? Yep. So in a few minutes, we're going to stop taking questions and I'll pull up that QR code that'll lead to the interest form. Once everyone's done asking questions, it looks like they're slowing down a little bit. So.
And we did get one question earlier on, Anisha, I'm not sure if you had answered this, but if somebody is graduating early, so if they're graduating in December, can they still present? This is another one of those unique circumstances that you'll have to email us, the email provided here on the slide, about that circumstance. But yeah, just shoot us an email and we can answer you on that.
We have had the situation in the past, though, where that person was graduating a semester early and they were able to present. So you are likely to be able to. Just reach out to us.
So it doesn't look like there are any more questions. Can students present with a partner or is it individual? So group presentations are possible. A lot of people do group presentations. So if you're working with the research group, or if you have a partner to present with, it's definitely possible. And this is something that you would distinguish on the hub when you're registering. You'd either be registering as an individual presenter or a group presentation, and all of this information, like specifically how to do it on the hub, will exist. So any more questions? If not, we are going to move on. Not seeing any. We can also come back and continue to answer. All right.
Okay, so here is the QR code for the interest form. Scanning this QR code will take you to an interest form that you can fill out, and that'll add you to our mailing list for prospective presenters. We're going to be emailing out any new information we have on the conference, as well as updates to the MassURC hub or any new resources that we come out with. So make sure you sign up for that. So another thing that we asked you to do is connect with us on our socials. We have the MassURC Hub linked here, our Instagram, and we have information about any upcoming events on all of these. So there's that.
You can also view past keynotes and tutorials and other content from past conferences on our YouTube channel, which is also linked here. And then, as Anisha said, the MassURC Hub, again, a great resource to use that you as a presenter should refer to often. And we'll have all of that information on the Hub after December 1st for you all to refer to. We can go back to that QR code slide if anybody missed it, but if not, yes, that is all. That's all for today. Unless anybody has any other questions, we can stick around for a little bit longer and answer any questions that anyone has. But thank you all for being here. And yeah, we'll see you on April 19th, conference day. Really excited. So thank you.